Good afternoon, curling fans, and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to the USA Curling 2023 Junior National Championships, brought to you live from the Broomstones Curling Club in Wayland, Massachusetts. Joining you today, myself, Sean Franey, and my counterpart,
Michael Moore. Good to see you.
Excited to have everybody out here today. This draw is our tiebreaker draw. We have two games going on, one in each field. In the women's field, the game we'll be featuring today is Team Ryhorchuk throwing the red stones versus Team Berg throwing the yellow stones. And on the adjacent sheet, we'll have the boys game, Team Gunsel throwing the red stones and Team Grabo throwing the yellow.
Okay.
First rocks are off. And it looks like Team Ryhorchuk has decided to go top house, and it slipped just a little bit back 8. Team Berg looking to play the hit.
Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's wrong with this thing?
Nice roll there. So what you see here is the Paige playoff bracket for the winners, or for the women's field, apologies. The winner of this game will play Team Pekowitz in the 3-4 game tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. At that same time, Team Shield will play Team Johnson in the 1-2 game.
Yes! Yes!
Tomorrow's semifinal will be at, I believe, noon Eastern, and the finals will be tomorrow at 5 Eastern. On the boys' side, the winner of the Gunsel-Grabo matchup gets Team Hebert tonight in the 3-4 game. And the 1-2 game is Team Wendling versus Team Senzali. The men's and women's fields this year wound out looking about the same. We had an undefeated team on each side. And a 2-loss team, a 3-loss team, and then we had 3 4-loss teams all tied for 4th place. So 2 of them you see out here, and the 3rd team was eliminated on DSC.
Judge.
Sean, it shows you the importance of those DSCs all week, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You can't let those slip. I mean, if you win all your games, it doesn't matter, but unless you win all your games, it's definitely a factor that comes into play. 2 teams found that out the hard way, but I'm sure they'll have some practice on it over the off season.
Absolutely.
Curl! Come on.
So, Mike, I know you're involved in
Very
coaching
nice.
On the USA curling level. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself for the fans out there who may not know?
Sure. I'm currently the U.S. Junior National coach, or one of them. I was coaching Team Sampson at the Junior World Championships in Germany this year. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, so I do a lot of traveling for the coaching, usually to the Twin Cities where most of the athletes are located. But it's been a busy season so far, and I got here yesterday, actually, so I was able to watch a couple of round-robin draws. The competition is great. The field is very young, which I think is a good thing for the growth of our sport. I think a lot of these athletes are going to have a chance to play this event multiple times, which is really great. And your team, especially with Kagan being only 13. So really young field. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't echo that enough. The majority of this field is still U18 eligible, so the prospect of U21s means it's a very young field. And a very competitive field. I think to see how close all these games were on both the men's and women's side all week, to see 3 teams locked in for that 4th place spot by the end of the round robin, it just goes to show you how tight everybody is with each other.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was at the U18s. I know you were too. And you're right, it's almost the same field. Just a couple extra athletes and teams sprinkled in there. But you're right, the teams are very equal across the board here. And the level of play, in my opinion, for the younger athletes here gets higher every year, which I think is really important to point out to the viewers out there.
our teams in our feature game continue to trade hits in the first end. Looks like we're headed towards a blank. Keep it nice and clean.
So Sean, what did you find that the speed changed a lot early in the games here, or?
There was definitely a difference between first practice and second practice.
Okay.
So the 10 minutes you get early and the 10 minutes you get late, there's a little bit of a change there. But typically by the time it gets to the first end, that first rock is right up to speed. And we felt like it held up throughout the game. We really, even when teams left the ice late in the game, we didn't see a drop off. And so even though we only have 2 of the 4 sheets active this draw, I wouldn't expect there to be much of a difference for this draw.
I want it in. Come on, Brooke.
The sweeper's doing a good job getting this one into the rings there.
Very nice. Very nice.
Certainly didn't want to leave a guard to give him something to draw around.
So you mentioned you coached Team Samson this year and managed to make their way not only to the World Championships, but had a good run at men's and women's.
Yeah, you know, they
nationals.
played really well in Denver, which was good to see because I thought we hit a little bit of a lull in the middle of the year there. And they really turned it on to the men's nationals and played some really good games. Just missed out on making the playoffs actually at that event. So both of the juniors teams actually had a pretty decent showing there in Denver. I know Shields' record wasn't super great, but they took a lot of teams deep into those games. So it shows you the depth of the program and the depth of our country.
Do you want to hit it?
And then you
just
had,
in case?
you know, Casper and Strauss's teams
Talk to
both
it.
doing very well on both the men's and women's side. So both made the final, which is great. You know, the young teams pushing the adult teams is a great thing for our country.
Yeah. Little bit of a roll there on Berg's last, and it looks like they're going to try and freeze here, which makes me assume that it's probably off. The overhead camera looks a little close, but
Should be a little slower here early in the game. You know, most of the practice rocks, the pregame going towards the center.
yeah.
So the sweepers are working hard to get that one here. It does get the job done, though.
That's fine.
Puts the pressure back on Gracia Berg and her squad. So one thing that was interesting this year on the boys field with Team Samson aging out, not only was the returning champion not able to be in the field, but there were no HP teams. So it was purely locally funded athletes coming, which I thought was an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, the only caveat there is Kevin Tuma, who was on the
True.
third for Team Samson. He is here playing with Team Wendling, but you're right.
Yeah.
It is a different dynamic than last year for sure. Because last
Yeah.
year we had 2 of the national teams in the event.
That's good.
This year we don't. So
Nice double actually with the roll there. Not sure they felt it was necessary, but I think it was good for them just to make sure that they didn't have a chance to draw the backing. So now it's going to be another hit with a chance for the
Correct.
blank. Did you have a chance to talk to Team Samson and the guys aside from Kevin and how they felt about not being able to compete in juniors anymore?
yeah, you know, obviously we talked at the end of the event at the World Championships, and then we had a meeting a few weeks later. The last couple seasons have been very long for those junior
No, that's
teams
control. It's
with
not
COVID,
control
and
down.
there was a season that never ended 2 years ago. So
Whoa!
those guys were on the national
Whoa,
team for 2 years in a row. I think they're ready for a
whoa.
little bit of a break, to be quite honest. But I'm sure they're excited to get their men's careers going too.
Yeah, I
Put it
feel like
this on?
it's the end of an era, which is always a little bit sad, but they have so much to look forward to, as you mentioned. So
Absolutely, both the boys and girls are talented teams, and you know, Team Shield is here, returning.
What
So
time?
the 3 of them are here on the women's
Yeah, I
side. So
think so. I didn't think there was control down. Like same as practice.
there's a lot of talent here
Isn't
with
that
the
what I
youth,
said?
and they're pushing our adult teams every time they can.
yeah.
So Berg here, I would assume, is going to throw some sort of a control weight to get a read on the ice on this blank attempt.
Yep.
Just make sure you give it a clean release and clean it right down. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was her last rock.
There.
No, just sorry. This is Gracia's
apologies.
first.
Yep,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're good. Just drying to the way. Little smoky though.
Should come down. She certainly has a little bit less rotation on that rock. It's trying to come down, but
And Sophia's able to slide it right through.
Like going up. That was heavy.
You know, a sneaky play there is Sophia leaves that rock a little shorter so it's out of the rings, but somewhere they can freeze on.
Right.
She doesn't need to get it all the way out of play.
Yeah. You want to make sure it's out of the rings, but if you can ever leave it there for backing, it's really good.
Yep.
Yeah. What was Morgan's?
I think those are the little things we're seeing. That's the difference in some teams versus other teams, and the more teams that pick up those little things and exceed at those, the better those teams get.
What goes to your point of the field being so even, that those small things start to mean so much more.
Right.
You know? The only other option here for Sophia is simply throw the other turn to drag the play the other side of the sheet and force Berg to make a hit on potentially a piece of ice they haven't thrown on yet.
True.
Maybe you should leave it.
Sweepers like it though, clean it right in there.
Just walking it down. Great line.
But again, if that yellow rock is a little higher, it's a jammable stone.
Right.
Yeah. I know, I knew it came out heavy. Oh, yeah.
As we mentioned, both these teams went 3 and 4, and I don't know this for certain, but I believe Team Berg ends up with hammer by proxy of their win in the round robin.
That would be my understanding. I didn't look at the records, but that would certainly be the rules.
Yeah.
Berg with the blank attempt here. Looks like she's got half a rock.
Sweeper's going on it, and it's out.
Roll it right out.
Blank.
Well, a nice up and down first end. Keep it clean. We'll take a break and come back for the second in a moment.
I mean, if it's the same thing, I guess.
And we're back here for the second end. Time for our sponsor reads. Is your curling club website clunky and unworkable? Are you tired of your club relying on social media because your website just does not work for your members? Finally, the curling management software your club has been waiting for. Check out Warm Room here at curling.club today. And our producer, John Benton, coming in with a QR code on the screen.
The man on the spot.
All right, so after the blank in the first end, Sophia and her team come in again on their first. Almost the exact same placement, back 4. Gracia goes for the hit and just barely rolls out.
Might as well do it, right?
So Sophia's going to use that as an opportunity to freeze, kind of a low-risk chance for a force here.
Yeah.
Certainly is an interesting call. I think you could probably just throw a center guard, but I understand what you're saying. It is a low-risk force for sure. Maybe that was a game plan going in.
The 10-end games definitely changes it. I know for most of these athletes, this is the only time this year they'll play 10 ends. And for some of these athletes that came, a lot of rookies this year, this was their first time playing 10 ends.
Right.
So I think for a lot of them, what they can do to shorten the game definitely helps.
Certainly changes things. By making the game longer, you tend to see the better teams find a way to win as the game extends. So oftentimes teams will try to shorten the game, to your point, to give themselves a chance. Maybe I only have to win a couple ends at the end here rather than winning 6 or 7 ends.
Right.
T-line, 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 hard. Hard. Curl, curl.
Good adjustment on the speed there. Looks like they got a good read off of Ryhorchuk's team.
Hidden stick. Hey, just control.
We did a little bit of talking about Team Sanson, the last year's champions on the men's side. On the women's side, as you mentioned, Team Shield is in the field this year.
Yes.
They won U18s and U21s last year.
Correct.
But aged out of U18s this year. They are obviously very young and will have multiple years to try and repeat here at U21s.
Really nice shot,
so it's an
really
interesting
nice.
dichotomy where you have on the boys' side the team aging out, but on the girls' side you have a chance for this team to really kind of put together a good run.
Yeah, and based on the experience they've received, over the last couple of years, even just training for the World Championships, you would expect them to be in the position they're in right now, which is in first place and playing in that 1-2 game. But certainly, from watching a couple of draws here the last couple of days, there's no guarantees of anybody winning that event on the boys or girls side. It's quite competitive. But certainly the experience factor, as you were just saying, playing 10 M's, nice little hit and roll here. It should stick around, I think, in the back.
Was it down? Okay.
It's spinning pretty good, but
just barely.
But to your point, Team Shield having some opportunities to play 10 M games the last couple of seasons certainly is an experience advantage over most of the field.
For those of you who are bored listening to us and are curious about the boys' game, Team Gunsel was able to force Team Graybo in the first end to 1, so it is 1-0 Graybo. Gunsel taking hammer in the second.
Yeah, they had quite a few rocks in play that a couple of center guards was able to hook one around.
Digging. Always be digging.
These teams, I'm not certain for Gunsel and Graybo, but I want to say it's something like their 6th matchup this year.
I believe you.
They had played 4 or 5 coming into this week, and it's been a battle every time they face each other.
Makes sense. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Well, they're not shying away from putting rocks in play at the moment on that sheet, so that's entertaining. Another open end here on our sheet. Looking to hit and stay again. Well executed.
These women have been showing a remarkable restraint, just nice, easy control, weight, pushing.
Teams that win games at this level and lose are the ability to control the shooter.
I'm so tired.
So if I want to hit and stay, I'm always staying. I'm not rolling out. To your point, I think a lot of times it's the weight choice. Oftentimes younger teams like to throw the rock a little harder than they need to. This one's looking a little tight.
Yes, Brooke. Yes, Brooke. Hard for the stick. Hard for the stick.
But well swept. Stays in the rings.
Good controller. Nice shot.
Wondering if Sophia ever decides to play a freeze at some point here on the rock in the back of the rings. I don't think she will, but...
No, I feel like with the call to come in early, they know that their best bet is kind of shortening the game, and so I think you won't see them take too many risks.
We gotta go!
This rock over curling.
Okay, well...
I think mostly just a little soft on the weight there, I think was...
Yeah. I think Gracia gave her the option of normal or control, and I like that.
Yeah,
I like her, giving the throw with the confidence to make the shot and the control of it. But looks like she chose control and then threw something closer to board. So.
Right. Did you find that the ice was much different throwing a board weight rather than a control hit, or?
any hit weight really straightened out. I mean, like most
How good?
championship ice, I feel like once you bring up the
Whoa,
weight
if
just
it's
a
not
little
there,
bit, it
no.
really straightens out. So I didn't find a huge difference, but a lot of it at that weight then becomes more
Whoa,
rotation sensitive.
whoa.
Sure.
If the reason it's bored
Go
and not
straight,
control is because it was a softer release, that's for
Whoa,
sure going to make it
whoa.
curl more. If you weren't
Really
right through to
nice,
the broom on
Morgan.
this ice, you noticed it
Like
very
this?
quickly. That's for
Right.
sure.
Nice to normal. In here. Normal.
Nice draw there to split the house.
Nice job.
Looks like a good opportunity to force Team Berg here.
Kind of back what we were talking about on that first rock, that cheap force.
Yep.
Doesn't cost you a lot, and if you get a miss, you have a chance.
Girl. Girl. Roll it really.
It's away with the jam in the back, but almost rolled the shooter in front. Pretty good shot there.
Wanna hit
Just
it?
trying to group the rocks
Okay.
together here, so hopefully Team Berg can make a double at some point
Yeah.
to get out.
You want to go this way?
Yeah, Sophia really can't hit too high,
A little
Right.
bit more.
so
Just a
she's
touch
she's
more.
almost certainly going to leave
No,
an
I know, but it
opportunity
does
for
curl a
Gracia to
lot.
throw the double.
Exactly.
Touch
Happens
more.
to the best of us, I guess.
Thank you.
I'm losing my voice.
Parka.
It is that time in the week. If you heard the audio there from the players, where a lot of the back end players in
Control.
particular start to lose their voice.
This time.
I was talking with
know how
Mason
I felt.
Gunsel after the game last night, and
But
he
even
sounded like
worse
he'd been
'cause I
smoking
was
30
in
packs a day. But he sounds
last
much
time
better
I
today,
seen
which
you-
makes me think that he
So.
either had some honey tea or something else to.
When I skipped in junior nationals, I would lose my voice by about the 6th game usually. And after that, it was a lot of hand signals and
For those of you that have never curled at the Broomstones Curling Club, it is a absolutely gorgeous curling club.
Yep.
But the wood paneling on the walls and the high vaulted wood ceilings make it very loud inside. And so I know a
Yes.
lot of the players this week found themselves bringing up their volume to try and accommodate
Those
that.
with normal, but just one's fine.
so
Whatever.
just as we sort of
Fair,
predicted
yeah.
here, Sophia's not able to roll very far, so she will leave a chance for the double.
We give her the double.
Looking like just kind of a nose hit double, which should give them a
If
chance
we
to
nose
get a
it, we have
blank
the
out of
double.
this.
What if we just stick?
There's
That's
a
good too.
looks like there's enough separation she can get it, just a hair high of nose, or
Now it's
maybe even
another
about
one.
half a rock
A
gets
hair
it across the
more.
top.
Sure, across the top is an option too if it's hanging out a
definitely love
little
that.
wide for him.
Gives her a little options.
So
They'd love
Gracia's
to
in
hear
turn
that,
here.
Actually.
Looks like about an 8-5 coming down. Good weight.
And sweepers around it the whole way here. She's very close. Gonna over curl just a pinch.
Oh, and just slides by. Not sure you could fit a piece of
Yeah.
paper between those two.
Yeah, it was tough to miss it any less than that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
going
the
the
same
same way that
situation
I
again.
was.
Sophia again is going to have a hard
That was
time
so
getting
close.
some separation on these rocks
Control.
without jamming it. So
Okay.
Gracia may have almost the same double again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just did this.
I think in this case,
We'll do it again.
I don't know what you would do, but I'd probably try and hit a little low side on the center line side,
Yeah.
roll directly in front, and that at that point you've got your force because it's too risky for her to attempt the double.
Sure,
But
you could
Yeah,
even
but
roll
I'm
big
more worried about-
to the right hand side of the shooter. Roll big and get the separation, and that's a force too, which is also probably easier, right? Like
Yeah.
just roll. You can roll a foot or roll 3 feet.
Yep.
What you don't want to do is kind of nose it, I think. But again, I think you'll see Team Berg probably just be happy nosing it and taking one
taking their one regardless.
regardless.
Oh, stop, Rock!
Alternating sweeping from the Giroux sisters as it's coming down.
That's
and
a good roll there.
That's perfect.
Yep, great roll. I think you're
I
probably
know you
just
wanna be
playing a
all
nice
funny and
normal
everything,
takeout, and if the
but
double
this
presents
is
itself on the way down, you
off.
sweep for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if those
Unless
hits
we're
fine,
super
take your
wide,
point.
then go for the double and roll out. But it's normal.
Yeah, you heard Gracia there. She said, we get nose, we get it, just a hair high and get that nice double that way, or we get it wide and get it across the top and roll out. Either's fine.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, across the
Never
top
mind then.
on the monitor looks okay. Oh, it looks much better in person than it does on the monitor.
Yeah.
We're sitting up, for those of you, we're sitting up right above the sheet here, so it looks a little easier in person than it does on that monitor.
Sweepers like the weight.
Whoa, whoa.
Just
Yes!
cleaning now around it a
Whoa,
bit.
whoa! Whoa!
Must be fairly close based on the sweepers. Set safely to the nose for their point. I think that was a safe and smart shot.
Yeah. So, with that force, Team Berg will take a 1-0 lead, and Team Ryhorchuk will take the hammer into the third.
I like the 3.
I feel like we do first to 4 foot. I feel like we.
And we're back here for the third end. Team Berg throwing their first rock, trying to go for a tight guard.
Yeah.
And it looks like it is just
do that?
slipped in as a biter.
It's in, so.
So
Control.
Sophia's going to ask her team to remove it and roll over. Maybe roll for a corner, maybe roll in, just depending on the angle.
Yep.
Well, Sean, I must say it's good to be able to hear your voice again. I had the volume turned off on my headphones the entire game so far, and our
That was my
producer
bad.
extraordinaire said, "Hey, have we tried turning the volume on?" And I said, "Oh, what a good idea."
Come on, bud.
So now
Come
I
on,
can hear you.
Morgan. Really close.
Big roll.
Really close.
That's tight. That may be on, that may not be on. Either way, Gracia Berg is treating it either like it's not on or like she doesn't care, which good for her. Try and throw that center guard again.
Yeah, I think even if it is in the rings there, I think you're just throwing the center guard regardless.
Yeah.
Yes!
The field this week has had a
Hard girls, hard girls.
compilation of strategy approaches. We've seen some teams be hyper aggressive,
Line push.
throwing 2 guards center line regardless of where the other team puts their rocks. We've seen other teams that have been really
Yes.
conservative and hit anything they absolutely could. So I think it's interesting to see how it all comes together.
Right, it's a nice center guard by Wayland. But you're right. I think the biggest mistake that junior curlers make is sort of coming in with a plan and an end, and then changing their plan halfway through. I think that's where you get in trouble. But if you want to play conservative or aggressive, that's fine. But you can't play aggressive for half an end and then all of a sudden decide to get conservative, or
That's
vice
fine.
versa.
Whoa. Stop.
Really nice draw here. Gonna
That
cover
was
the
very
pin.
good. Yep. Maybe a foot deeper or 2 feet deeper than they really want, but a very good shot nonetheless. It certainly is hidden.
Absolutely.
So
You just like blew it or something?
Brooklyn looking to freeze one onto that red one.
Line's out there. It's a little on the outside. It might die. Yep. Yep, got a curl. Hard. Hard. 6. Top four, right to it.
Great
right
listening
it.
to the communication
Gotta
as
be
the
biting,
shot
gotta
is
be
coming
biting.
down.
Biting hard, biting
You hear
hard,
Gracia
biting
talking
hard.
about the line,
Hard, get it back.
referencing the path that it's fresh. Sweeper's working hard to respond to that.
Leg drive.
Right, I think even what Gracia was communicating was that I think the rock was a little wide of the target, so it
Yeah.
was on a new path. And the sweepers may not realize that. because maybe the broom was missed a little bit by the shooter, and then it's important to tell the sweepers that it is wider. They did a good job of communicating that there.
We've definitely seen those outside paths behave a little slower, not as dramatically as you might see at some other events with the ice being a little different, but definitely some variation there.
You know, I wonder, today is probably the warmest day we've had, right? I haven't been here all week, but it's pretty warm outside today. I wonder if there's any residual heat to the night draw here.
Yeah, I would expect the ice today is about as fast as it's been all week with that. Just a hair wider than I think she wanted, and they ended up taking it a hair deeper, but not a bad spot.
That was a good audible, right? As to your point, it was a little bit wider, but if she leaves it on the top corner of that rock, Team Berg can try to come down and move both of them. Where it is now, all she can do is kind of freeze or tap.
Get a little flash of the scoreboard there. For the game on sheet 3, you can see Team Grabo was able to force Team Gunsel to 1 in the second. So that game is tied at 1 after 2. Team Grabo taking hammer into the third.
Really gotta go. Hard. 7, go, go, go.
This rock's coming down. The line looks great if they can get the distance there on the freeze.
Oh, well swept right on the corner. Good shot.
That's a great shot.
2 still. Yeah, I think so. Like top 12.
The next step here is going to be to make a couple peels.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
For Team Berg, because Sophia's going to try to clog the center as long as she can.
Both these teams have excellent sweepers. Been watching them a little bit this week, and their ability to drag rocks on this ice is impressive. They've done a wonderful job making shots happen.
Yeah, I think that's probably the largest improvement in junior curling in the last 5 or 8 years. Is the sweeping ability is much better than it ever I think has been. There's so much more emphasis on that now in the game, and the juniors are picking up on it faster.
Like this.
We've seen all of the kind of the most recent strategies used too that we're seeing at the elite level. They're putting them into play, and they're putting them into play successfully this week, which I think is fantastic. I think ice quality has a big thing to do with that too. I've noticed that this ice is as good as any ice these athletes have played on this season, and I think it makes a big difference for them to have the confidence that as a shooter, you can throw a shot and let your team make it the perfect shot.
Right, yeah, I've heard the same thing from the athletes that the ice has been very sweepable, would be a term I would use.
Like that? Can you see this?
When your sweepers can help manipulate the stone, it makes the shooter's job much easier.
Do you like control better?
Yeah.
So
So Gracia taking a long look at this and having a good talk with her team, as you heard there. Team Ryhorchuk made a wonderful top 12 draw, half buried. So they looked at this to see if they thought they could run it, use it, or if it's just picking it out. They've decided on control weight, and their sweepers are going hard on it. Really nice shot. Loosens up the two in the 4 foot.
Yeah. Draw top 8.
I think most importantly is that Team Berg is lane number 2 after that shot.
I like under center.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Berg is 2, 4, and 6. Ryhorchuk is 1, 3, and 5, so a nice little alternation here. Sophia's going to ask her team just to draw down and try and make Gracia do it again.
Yeah, this is an important shot here to not set up a double or to make sure you're in the rings here and force Berg to hit you. If for some reason you set up a double or a short, it'll allow Berg to attack the shot rock.
Whoa, whoa.
This is going to get a rub off of that, but with the sweep, it ends up pretty much exactly where they wanted it.
This?
Yeah, it turned out very good.
Gracia looking for a draw here. Got a little bit of backing on the back of the forefoot, but shooter can probably only see about a third of that stone.
Yeah, based on Morgan's shot previously, the way that hooks in here, this hole is small. And see, it's going to hang on this yellow one for a long time.
Push! Oh, whoa.
She'll do the same tick that Team Ryhorchuk made.
Yeah, Team Berg does have two ways in here.
Sophia looking at all the options. Does she cover up the run on the left? Does she deal with the two that are in the house? Or is she more worried about the run on the right? I think the run on the right is probably the least of her concerns at this point.
I would agree. The angle's not great with that rock. So probably the easiest shot is what she just called, which is just guard this.
Yeah.
They're already laying 2. It's a pretty tough score for Berg at the moment, so no reason to move things around.
Knowing that they have hammer, she knows Team Berg is going to try and hit their way out of this.
Clean it off. Clean it off.
Now.
That's a pretty great result.
Yeah, it was a good shot by Morgan Zocker there.
You like that, but I like soft weight. Well, even like back line.
Gracia's looking at a down weight tap. As you mentioned, it curls so much coming in it there at the end that if you throw just
like back line?
enough to bump it in,
I like back
that
line.
could bail them
Like
out of this
here.
end.
Doesn't curl that much.
Yeah, just even get a piece of the forefoot. It's a tough deuce then back. You know,
Guys,
ball's
like
back in
that back line
Ryhorchuk's court then.
Top it back.
So your first one,
Alright, got it.
I gave you like 2 inches.
I can't see that
8
much.
foot.
I really do
Like
think that
this-
guard was kind of in the
Yeah,
best spot she
outside the
could
8
because
foot.
it takes
Right
away
now,
the
there.
soft
Then
weight
I gave
double,
you,
but it also
like, 2
takes
inches
away
from
or
the
makes
center
the
and
hit a
12
little
foot
harder, but
on
it
your
doesn't
guard.
completely take the
And it
tap away.
almost,
So
like, if it was a little bit heavier, it would have curled from the same spot.
So Gracia mentioned she couldn't see much from the hack, so I think they tightened the broom up and threw a hair harder.
Yep.
yeah,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
you can hear Team Ryhorchuk talking about kind of
Whoa.
what more, whether or not more ice would have helped there on her
Watch
guard.
this one warp towards the guard.
Yes.
Yeah, it really hooks there.
Yeah.
I think her weight was really good.
Do you like guard? I mean, she. Yeah, but she could also try it though too.
So here's the interesting discussion. Do you guard that
I
same
don't
tap
know, just
again?
because
Or
if
what they're
we-
looking at here is if they
If we're
beat
wide,
them to
then
this
we-
hit and roll in, knowing that
I
that
know,
was
but because if we do
Gracia's
that,
shot at getting out of this end
guard.
as well.
I think the guard, honestly.
Yeah, I think what I'd be thinking is,
Let's do
what
edge of
is
12.
Berg's easiest shot?
Yeah.
Let's take away the easier one and make her throw the harder one. She just threw this tap. I think the tap is probably easier than that hit and roll. So let's
Agreed.
take away the tap and let her try that hit and roll. But a good discussion nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely.
Still, that's hard.
I see them playing the in turn here. I think if I were them, I'd be tempted to throw the out turn because I think if it's high enough, you can make a guard against both the tap and the run.
Fast. Okay.
That's a fair point, yeah. I think that's something that a lot of the inexperienced players have a hard time with, which is trying to get a guard to stop, meaning they always over curl on championship ice. So sometimes it is easier to throw across the center line with the other turn.
Add it a tiny bit.
Give your sweepers a chance to bury it as opposed to trying to hold it, which can be a futile effort at best here.
Exactly. I would look for this rock to maybe over curl.
Whoa,
It
Brooke,
really
never.
curls here.
Never you.
If she ever chaps off the red,
It would be
Never
nice to
you.
bounce it. Yep, hard for the bounce. Not good outcome.
I think
so
so.
successfully having guarded that in-turn tap,
And I think like
Gracia's
here.
looking at just the straight draw even, or the tap here, as opposed to trying that in-off that Sophia was a little worried about.
hit and roll. Just be ready to roll ours. Okay, we're gonna go with peel weight though, because you gotta like roll.
Yeah, I thought they were hitting this the way she put that broom down. She does like to hit. I've seen her play multiple times here, so
Peel.
I found that her tendency is to look for a hit if she can find one.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to defer to you on the judgments then.
I made one guard. One guard. Yeah.
Peel weight.
Yeah.
Looks like it's in the neighborhood.
They're going hard on it now.
I think she has a pretty good shot here.
I think this is
Stay
very
high
good.
enough. Good shot. Well executed.
Okay,
Excellent shot by Gracia there.
Beauty.
Now Ryhorchuk's going to play the in-off that she was looking at earlier.
And if she's able to make this, it would be for 3 this time.
It's a little harder this time than it would have been on the previous shot, I think. But it's very, very similar angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little thin.
So just the edge is on the 7th.
If you hit it a little too thick, you may be able to roll the shooter in for a shot. So it's something to be aware of as the third in the house.
Right. It's hard. I don't know that looking at this overhead cam, I don't know that there's a hole she necessarily slides through. So thick, you get the hit and roll. Thin, you may even come off of your own and get it out that way for 2.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
yeah.
I think
Looks
we
like
have
there's
to
a
go
pretty
this way.
wide margin of error here.
I want to throw. Firm.
Yeah, I was going to ask if she was going to throw firm or peel because I think either weight
In-off.
makes the
Firm.
shot.
In-off.
Yeah.
Some players are more comfortable throwing, 8.5, and some players would prefer to throw full peel weight at these. But
Firm.
whatever weight you're comfortable with is enough to make it.
I like the firm call here because they have a margin of error, and so this gives a chance to bring the sweepers into it, maybe just a hair more.
I totally agree. It also makes the flat hit and roll easier.
This one looks like it's hanging out a little bit more than they expected.
Yeah, I think she got it out from release there. It sounded like they were saying whoa right out of her hand.
It does move some rocks around, but it will be a steal of 1 at the end of it for Gracia Berg and her squad. So with a 2-0 lead, Berg will go into the 4th with Ryhorchuk retaining the hammer. We'll be back in just a moment.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
And welcome back for the 4th end. Team Berg with a 2-0 lead after a steal in the 3rd.
But I don't think.
Their first rock coming down, hoping for a tight guard on the center line.
Whoa, whoa.
I think at this point, based on what we've seen so far, if you're either team, you're feeling confident about your opportunity. So this is going to be a close one for sure.
Sure. I could hear the team is between the ends there, and it sounds like we're going to get some more aggression coming the next couple ends. So should be exciting next couple ends. A little bit of inexperience there, making sure you get that center guard on the center line. I'm not positive it's touching the center line with the no tick rule.
Line's fine.
It's important to get that rock touching the center.
You gotta go, Allie.
We did have plenty of rocks in play in the third, so
we did.
Looking for more action like that.
Yeah.
Want to shout out Jenna Brzeski, who's been working really hard all
That's
week
fine,
to
bud. You just kind
keep
of
things
turned it in
moving.
a touch
She
and
brought up
got
her
scared.
laptop and shared with us some fun
Can you
facts
see
about the
any?
team, so
I
we'll
just have
sprinkle
four.
those in. Unlike Dean, we're not as
Which
subtle
way do you
about it.
guys
We'll just
like?
tell you when it's a fun fact that's coming your way.
Kind of like this way.
Little deep on the draw there from Brooks, so this is going to give Gracia and her squad a chance to just lock one on.
Good. Where is it? Really gotta go. Really gotta go.
Sweeper's calling 3 as it comes down the ice.
Gotta be biting. Get it as close as you can then. Close as you can. All right.
And after going coast to coast, it just kind of
Like
corner
Jordan!
freezes on their own.
Okay.
Yeah, with those yellows kind of staggered, it certainly gives
side
Ryhorchuk's
down,
team a
bud.
chance to bury around 2 staggered guards.
Yeah. If I'm tracking correctly, I'm pretty sure at least 3, if not all 4 of Brooks' first rocks have been in the exact same spot, kind of back 4, just barely biting the 8-foot. Seems to be really dialed in on that first rock. This one, though, just a little heavier. Gracia's able to get it just through.
Yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity there to get set up to get 2 buried, but
Well, it's not her fault. I jinxed her.
the announcer's jinx is real. Now, Brooklyn will have a chance to get one buried behind those staggers.
It's gotta curl. We're wide.
Gracia tells her sweepers it's hanging out a little
Just
bit.
curl, just curl. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Wayland trying to bring it over, give it a chance. But it looks like the weight's all there as well.
She's sliding out just super wide on everything. Drawing. I want top house.
So you can hear Gracia just saying
But
a little
just
bit wide
remember
on the
your
slide
backing,
there. I
so-
think she made the same mistake earlier in the previous end as well on the outturn. So now Allie's opportunity to make the same shot. Get it in the top 4 there, bury it.
Clean. Yeah. Straight. Straight.
Brooke going hard to hold
Straight.
it.
Curled earlier than the other ones.
Straight, Brooke. Hard, Brooke. Come on, Brooke. Really
That's
hard.
a really nice line.
It's
Oh,
around.
great
Come on.
buy.
Every inch, every inch, every inch, every inch, every inch.
Well swept.
That's a wonderful shot.
Really close.
Well
little high.
swept.
Little higher
like
than they
this
wanted,
way
but that's a
better.
great spot. Fun fact bomb. The Giroux sisters are twins. It says they were born 48 minutes apart, but in 2 different Minnesota cities.
That seems hard to do.
Very hard to do. I imagine there was transport involved, which sounds incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it sounds to me like yeah, some sort of moving vehicle.
Top 4. Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to that story at some
Where
point.
is
They'll
it?
be
Where
happy
is
that we're
it?
talking
Curl.
about their births.
Curl. Hard.
Sweeper's working to get this one into a good
Straight,
position.
Straight, straight.
I'm not sure it has enough steam. It spins off, it's pretty nice.
You know, like this again.
Not a terrible
I like top
spot. I
4.
think if you had it in the same depth but on
Yeah.
the other side of the red,
I like
on
that.
the outturn side, I think they might have preferred that one a little better, but it's definitely something they can work with.
Clean.
Could certainly hear the players between ends from the Berg team talking about, do we
It's
really want to throw
Morgan's
guards Ryhorchuk had a chance for 3 in that previous end, and they're getting into a little bit of a same situation here where Ryhorchuk's team has been able to get a few buried behind these staggards.
Whoa, whoa. Okay.
This one a little heavier than I think Sophia was hoping for, but does curl up enough. It leaves Gracia and her team a chance to cap it off and close the door on them.
You good?
Right, this is probably their one chance to freeze one in here.
No curl. Be a 7. Whoa, careful. Freeze it. Curl. No more than 7. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Looking a little spicy.
Goodbye. Push. Push. Push.
Oh,
Great
fantastic.
line.
Fantastic shot there.
Just papers that top red.
Think we draw again?
A super important shot. It's going to be
Or
2
we
shots
peel.
away to getting that yellow one out of there.
They are.
Makes it very hard to count the other
1.
reds.
Peel. Okay. Go this way. Let's get both.
Sophia talking with her team there.
Throw firm.
She
Okay.
was debating between the freeze and the peel, and it looks like they've elected to peel.
I like the call. I think you need to get rid of these guards.
Straight.
This will put the ball in Gracia's court again. Do you
Yep.
guard it right back, or do you try and put another one in there? And that's a great peel.
Good shot. Like here.
Yeah, I like their kind of guarding the shot rock and also guarding that red on the center line in the 8-foot.
The freeze.
Right, that's the dangerous rock for
I
her
like
right
here
now.
first.
So. If anything, you'd want this one touching center. Let them throw that out turn draw and at best cap themselves to 1.
I think you're right, yep. Another thing for younger teams to focus on when they're playing or practicing is where exactly do I want the guard? A lot of times we call a guard and we want to be precise when we're placing that. Just to your point, you're better off getting close to the center line on this rock than leaving it a little bit wider.
This one looks like it's a little wide out of hand and even a little heavy. So it's just going to come on in there.
Yeah.
Not terrible at the end of the day because it makes that angle on the run a little harder than I think it was before.
I
Just so
agree. It
normal.
tucked that red a little bit behind that yellow. I'm not sure she can stick the red one in, right? She might be able to make contact, but
Yeah.
I don't want to go this
Looks
way
like
at it.
nose probably removes 1 yellow and maybe even 2,
we
but
have to
you're
go
losing
this
the
way.
runner.
We have to hit it
and
like
then the Berg
here.
team has control with both yellows there.
Okay, throw normal.
Gonna try and get a little low side here, see if they can make something happen. For those of you curious, we neglected to tell you that Team
Curl,
Gunsel was able
Ellie!
to steal 3
Curl,
in
Ellie!
the 3rd end, taking the score to 4-1.
Hard curl, Ellie, hard curl. Oh,
And that one just whizzes by shot rock and actually ends up hitting both of the reds. Yellow now sitting 1, red 2, 3.
yeah, like here.
Sorry, red sitting
Okay.
1, yellow
It's really,
1,
really
red
close.
2, yellow 3 and 4. So, not a bad spot for
Really
Team
close.
Berg.
3, okay?
Crap.
Looking to throw one more guard here.
Yeah, you throw a good guard here, you're in the steel chair for sure.
I got it. I got it.
I feel so too.
Looks like she has a little more ice than she did on the previous throw as well.
I think as you noted earlier, her release tends to be just a little softer, so
Sure.
that kind of recognition of that.
Where?
Sometimes it's easier just to take more ice, you know, just why am I fiddling with it? I do the same thing every time. Let's just take a little extra ice.
Brooklyn! Go, go, go,
Want to cover part of the red, which they're able to do. Good sweep in there.
That's a great spot. Brooklyn going hard on there just to bring it in as much as
I
they
feel
could.
like we have to hit. Yeah, I know.
It looks to me, though, that she could get rid of
I feel like
2
we have to
yellows
hit this first.
So either
leaving a
then
very
she
lonely
has to
yellow in the
try to
forefoot.
hit
No,
that out,
gotta know where the
and
leg
then
is
gives us
right
this
away.
draw,
She
or
hits,
has
you know,
to
a
try to
quarter of the red one. Both the yellows
Yeah.
go away. The reds may stay.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And that yellow rock in the forefoot needs a
Yeah,
friend.
no, basically, yeah. Normal?
You could do the quarter high side, but I think actually even if you just nose that red, the runner comes off the back of the other yellow. You get both those
Kind of
yellows gone,
opening it
and the
up.
red is then dragging
Morgan
in
knows
towards
what
the
we're doing.
forefoot.
So,
Yeah, you just need a lot of weight for that shot, but you're
Yeah.
right, that is available.
So she's definitely got some options here for sure.
this red and yellow, the red and yellow side.
Closer you get to nose, the more your shooter sticks there too. Keeps them in a really good spot for the last rock.
It's probably possible to hit these and have the two reds so they're lined up on the yellow actually.
Sweeper's just cleaning.
like it.
Yeah.
She was trying to get underneath a bit there.
Oh, it just squeaks by that other yellow.
Yeah, I think I would prefer to see them play the high side of that rock.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, they still have that.
Just looking like a tough score at the moment.
Probably. Do you like that?
Thank you.
Although she could run the red right under the shooter,
If
or
we're, like,
I'm sorry,
super
under the
light-
shot rock. So I think she has two ways to score at the moment.
Yeah.
I think if I'm Team Berg, I'm just trying to suck another one right into the forefoot there, out turning around.
That looks like the call here.
That was my neck. Did you
Make her throw the run and make her make it against two.
Against two, exactly.
No?
You're old and crackly.
If they run, they jam.
Barely older than you.
Do you like, let's do the guard, Damaris.
Gracia making an adjustment from the hack there. Just
Oh,
thinking
we're
about the
saying
guard.
one, just saying one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I might like to see her come down and make sure the
Just
broom's in the
time
right
right away
place
with
here.
it.
Sometimes you change the shot from the other end and things don't go exactly as you plan.
Oh, I did that shot. A little bit.
Because this is a spot they really haven't thrown yet. I'd like to see her come down and kind of talk with all four team members about how to make this shot.
Curl! Curl! Curl!
Gotta be careful not to line it up for her.
Oh, it's
It's not bad. She made it a little
Yeah,
harder.
the double.
yes.
Be really nice if we could hit it.
It looks like it is pretty
Think we
simple
could
on
do
the
this?
double run, but I think at best it's for one, and that's assuming you
I
can
think
stick
the
the shoot
angle might be
for the
there.
runner.
There's space.
If you ever catch that yellow thin enough,
have to hit it like
get
that.
it kind of almost across the top of the red a little bit, you
No,
might
we
be
have
able
to,
to
like,
squeeze a
like
two out of this.
I like this.
That's the only
honestly.
way to make
like
it, right? You have to kind of slice it over the top.
Yep.
I don't love it with that gosh.
Listen into the girls as they talk about it.
I'm not sure how we lose it. I like this. No, I like this. Four. I want to do this. I'm telling you, I want to do this.
Sophia's doing a good job, I think, in my opinion. It's her turn to throw, right? It's her shot. She sees it, she likes it. Let's call it, let's play
It's
it.
just like 3/4 of the rock.
Sometimes there's a tendency
Yep.
to over-discuss these situations. Sometimes you have to be assertive as the skip.
And I like the confidence she has to believe in it too.
Yeah.
I think that's, especially at this age, one of the things that you see these athletes struggle with is the confidence to say no. And like she was talking to a door-to-door salesperson, she said it 3 times, and that was enough.
Right.
I will make something.
I wanted her.
Oh, no.
And she should be close here. She gets through the same line. Probably throwing a little more weight on this one than her previous.
Yeah, it looks like based on how much her first one curled, she's definitely upping the weight here.
Yeah, it looks like a nice, just a firm to a normal.
Yeah! Yeah!
Did get contact.
Did get contact, but got low side of the top one, which meant she wasn't able to quite move that yellow enough. So it's a steal of 1 again for Team Berg. They'll clear the stones and head into the 5th end. Team Berg up 3-0.
I think
And Team Ryhorchuk retaining the hammer once again. We'll be back in a moment with more coverage from Wayland, Massachusetts.
Normal up.
I think we should go.
The everyday person may not aspire to be a professional athlete or an Olympic athlete. You may just want to be the best person you can be. You just may want to sleep better. You may want to feel better. Thorne has many products that can support all of those things. So it's not just about performing or running faster or jumping higher. It's those little things that go into having a higher quality of life.
Welcome back to the live cast of the tiebreaker games at USA Curling's 2023 Junior National Championships from the Broomstones Curling Club in Wayland, Massachusetts. On the women's side, we have Team Berg after another steal in the fourth end is up 3-0 on Team Ryhorchuk. Looking for their first points.
Just a quick update on the boys' game here. Team Graybow with what looks like a draw for 2. That's a little heavy, but should sit down in the back 8, back 4. So good shot for 2 to make the score 4-3. Team Gutzlow with hammer playing the 5th.
We were talking a little bit during the break. The athletes were asked to kind of fill out some bios with some basic questions, and Jenna Berchesky's been keeping us up to date, which is how we have all these wonderful fun facts for you. One of the things we've noticed is one of the questions included their curling idol. And a lot of these athletes are picking athletes that are not much older than themselves, which is cool to see. To your point earlier about the success that young curlers are having at the highest stage, they're picking athletes that are only fresh out of juniors themselves. And it's cool to see that.
Yeah, I think it shows what the success of our young teams does for the even younger athletes, which is what I mean is it shows the younger athletes that it is possible. You know, if I work hard and I practice and I do everything the right way, I can compete at the world level and win podiums.
Okay. Draw under. Okay, Brooke, pro side is light.
Staggered center guards there for Team Berg, and after throwing a corner guard on her first, Sophia is going to ask Brooke to come around on her second.
Yeah, first time we've seen a corner guard this game. I do like the fact that they're using the corner guard immediately and not drawing around the center. I think teams sometimes get distracted with the center guards and don't end up using their corner guard that they threw for a reason.
Yep, yes.
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
There's always a discussion about how to appropriately use a corner guard. And
Finish.
I think it depends on the situation. I've
Really
told
nice,
teams before,
really
I said
nice.
sometimes it's so you can draw behind it, other times it's so you can hit and roll behind it, and other times it's there just so you can run it on your last shot.
Right.
And
if you're John Epping, John Epping.
It's the only reason he ever uses the corner guard. Gives you an angle runner when you need it. So I think
always have the intern run, guys. So Brooke and Sager looking to get around the center guards here to force the Ryhorchuk team to get rid of it in order to get that corner guard to be useful. Same spot again here that's over curling.
And it just clips that center guard. Does roll in, but will be fully exposed. It is in far enough that I think she can hit it and beyond.
Yeah, I'd like to see her roll behind her corner with this rock and not nose it.
Yeah. If you ever get the nice roll, they're in a really good spot here.
Yes, sir.
Thought it was interesting there. The the way the stagger on those yellows was, you would almost expect Gracia and her team to draw around with the outturn side, but they chose to draw the insert side. I think part of it is, like you said, it is curling so much on that side. You know it's going to bury.
That's pretty good. It does leave a double back, though, which may even get a roll towards the center. So
Yeah, this great opportunity here for Berg.
probably needed to roll that shooter further if they were able to.
One thing fans at home might have seen between ends there, just before we went to commercial break, the coaches for the teams this year are able to come out between ends and talk to their teams. In an arena setting where the coaches are sitting at a table just behind the scoreboard, the WCF rules allow for teams to talk to their coaches during that period. And so one of the things that the officials here have decided is, if they can do it in that event, why can't we do it here? So gotta hustle a little bit to dodge the fans and get out there, but it's nice being able to have those moments, especially in a situation like this where Sophia and her team are down after a couple of steals and are really looking for some support. To have their coach Anya come out and give them a little bit of a peck tap between the ends could be a huge boost.
Yeah, that speaking as a coach, that 60 seconds is super valuable. I always joke with my teams, look, if I'm going to sit out here and freeze, I get my 60 seconds. So you better come over here and talk to me because I'm earning it, right?
You owe me at least this.
Right.
Yeah.
So looking to hit and stay here, and a little bit wide. It looks like she may roll out, which will certainly change the dynamic of this end. This allows a free draw around the center.
Yeah, series of half shots there. We saw Team Berg tried the double and ended up stuffing it, but rolled their shooter to that far side. Team Ryhorchuk tried to hit and stick there and ended up rolling out. So kind of back to where we were a minute ago.
Yeah, they've chosen the same intern again. You heard Team Berg kind of discuss which turn the shooter liked. They settled on this intern. I would be interested to give her the other turn if I could.
Hard! Gotta be here! Hard!
Other reason being, not just that it curls so much, but you're allowing them to potentially hit and roll behind their corner guard.
Right.
If you play the other turn and show them half a rock, they can't roll behind the corner guard. They're rolling into the open.
Right. That's only half buried, to your point. If it had been full buried, it would have been fine, but...
And you know, if you touched it...
So I think you want to make sure you save the shooter here. Even if you hit the middle of the three rocks, you can still get the shooter going somewhere good by the corner guard.
Absolutely. I think that was part of the discussion there.
So Morgan Zocker here looking for the hit and roll.
Yep! Yes! Yes! Whoa!
Sophia looking for the audible on the top one, it sounds like. Oh, no,
Nope.
I'm sorry, she's by easy.
And it does stuff on their own and tap it out.
Almost laying two behind that corner.
That would have been really nice.
Again, they're playing the same turn. I think we need to get the action drawn to the other side of the sheet here.
Okay, never mind. She doesn't care.
Try to get the red team away from their corner guard.
Likely. I don't know. Maybe she does. I'll just tell
Brooklyn!
Listen, when you love your intern, you love the intern.
She'll probably make it perfect. I'm going to look silly.
6, go! Ryland! Hard! Curl!
Really good sweeping to get that rock by.
Deep
And-
enough for shot and full
shot
buried.
rock. Excellent draw. So I look silly, don't I?
What? Okay.
We talk about the commentators, Jakes, all the time, but the athletes have a little to say from time to time.
Yes, they're pretty good at curling. So
Shout out to Daenerys on that one. Hard flex. We're proud of you.
great sweeping.
You're good. You're good.
Just peels the top or the middle guard there.
Yeah, I think I like the patience there. Make her put it back. Maybe you get a mistake and you can make a double.
You like the tap or the freeze?
The forefoot's
You like?
still open. But if she decides to guard this, you can always out-turn around to the forefoot.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that. Like, here.
This thing is annoying. No, the mic, because the mic has to go, because it has to go like this, and so it keeps rolling up.
Just the guard. If we're heavy, just make sure to tell her, because then we'll tap ours back, okay?
Kind of.
You guys are really good sweepers, and I'm proud of you.
Love the communication right there.
All right, so
That
listen
was
to me,
great.
okay?
We've got Gracia thanking her sweepers for being such wonderful sweepers and telling them how proud she is. Meanwhile, on the flip side, you've got Sophia and Morgan are discussing the, we'll call it the inconvenience the mics that we give them present. And I have to say, some athletes it doesn't bother them, some athletes it does.
It's really got to
My thing has always been, if it bothers you, don't even wear it. It's not worth
Oh
it.
my god.
So just looking
Morgan!
to get in there and guard, and it looks like it will leave a
No.
hole.
It's just down.
It's a small hole, but it is there.
It is there.
And that's how you
You
get
can
your
help
multiple
curl
score.
them.
If you ever get through this hole, a 3 ball is in play for sure.
Oh, absolutely. At the same time, it's not where she wanted it, but it does at least give her something that she's got to look at. And it's going to be one of those things where now Sophia's got to kind of tune out the guards and almost pretend they're not there. Otherwise, it's too easy to throw it where you're looking, which ends up being right at that guard.
That's a fair point. Really, you're just
Can I
playing the
have
hit
a little bit
ball
more
to
line?
get the guards.
Thanks.
Right.
Control. Yeah, peel is fine. Yeah, just clean. Have a little bit more. Thank
Just
you.
asking for a little extra ice from the hack.
Yeah.
A little bit tight on the release of to my eye there.
Yeah!
Sleepers around it.
Hard!
Allie's going hard.
You got it by.
Woo!
She did it. Big roll.
Big roll is good though, I think.
Yeah. And the spin up. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. It's gonna make Gracia make
We
a good
nearly
draw
hit the
here.
left one.
We gotta come this way, though.
Only way out.
Oh my god.
You really can't throw that shot any better than that in terms of the result. That was fantastic.
I wonder if it was better to roll kind of stay behind the yellow rock there rather than rolling big, only because it makes Gracia's draw a little harder if you're kind of in the full 8, but either way, a fantastic shot.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get it a little thicker and you're just dead buried, you just
Right.
what you don't want to do is leave a sliver that either leaves a double or an easier hit and roll.
Right.
Yeah.
Grace's voice.
How much this ice curls, especially with that in turn. Gracia's got to be really careful where she puts this because Sophia's going to have a halfway shot at just about anything.
As a team here, this is a shot where you have to make sure you get by the guard. Right, even if you're heavy, you gotta sweep it past. You cannot clip the guard.
Absolutely.
Needs to settle down. It looks
I
like
know, I know.
It's
very
coasting.
Coasty, yeah.
And it is just deep enough that will leave Team Ryhorchuk sitting 2 with a draw for 3.
Yeah!
So this is where you're hoping that Team Ryhorchuk sweepers were paying attention to that one and the speed of that rock. See if they give her any feedback.
Okay. 4-0? 4-0.
Sophia is checking the
Yeah, I
split
want to
times.
use it though. Mine isn't gonna curl as much.
And excellent comment there. She's noticing that her rock will curl less than Gracia's stone. So the speed will be slightly different.
I did.
Okay. Allie thinks it's
Full
all
8,
there.
you guys, full
We're
8!
keeping a broom down just in case. Seems to be traveling in nicely.
The sweepers seem to like it.
Going a little bit just to make sure.
Whoa!
Well executed.
Wonderful draw. So with that, Team Ryhorchuk takes 3 in the 5th. Going into the mid-end break, we have a tie game, and what we expected to be a close game is very close. Before we head to the break, we just want to remind you that this 5th end break is brought to you by Warm Room Hero, the intuitive curling club software that takes the stress out of schedules, registration, and more. Warm Room Hero, a platform built for curlers by curlers. Check out Warm Room Hero at curling.club today. That's curling.club.
It's not that cold.
Let's say you're in high school and there's a sport you like, but sometimes you think, you know, it might be cool to try a new sport.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
Welcome back to the 2023 USA Curling Junior National Championships from Broomstones Curling Club in Wayland, Massachusetts. After 5 ends, the score is tied 3-3 between Team Berg and Team Ryhorchuk. As we mentioned, this is a tiebreak game, so these two teams are fighting for the 4th place spot in the playoffs. Winner advances to play this evening at 7. Loser is out, so it's a do-or-die situation. On the screen, you see Team Anya Normando, or Coach Anya Normando, working with her team, Team Ryhorchuk.
35 seconds ahead.
A lot of good banter about releases, strategy, technical points, checking the time clocks to figure out how they're doing relative to the benchmarks.
We good? We good. I thought you said
All the important stuff.
okay. Okay, okay. Ladies, stay focused. Stay on top. You can do it.
As we pan over to the scoreboard for sheet 3 in the men's tiebreaker draw, you see Team Gunsel forced to 1 in the 5th. That gives them a 5-3 lead going into the 6th end, where Team Grabo will have Hammer coming home.
I have to finish chewing.
We often call it snack time at the 5th end break, and these athletes are always trying to chow down on something. Quick burst of calories to get them through the next 5 ends. As we discussed earlier in the game, the
Top 4.
10 end games
You have 10
are
seconds.
longer than what most of them are
So-
used to. Some of them
So just
get
line
a
up.
few opportunities during the year, but really this is their biggest opportunity for this much curling. So it's always nice to have a quick boost, get some extra energy. Team Ryhorchuk has chosen to
Morgan, fix your broom
draw
head.
in on this one. Part of the
There we
discussion
go.
during that break was, do they throw up the guard or do they come on in? Looks like they are going in.
Whoa. That's very interesting comments. Yeah. All right.
Always a little faster in the sixth, Sean. Always a little faster in the sixth.
So Team Berg here is going to play the hit. I think Sophia was thinking maybe given it's an even end, they might throw up a guard and go a little harder for a 2, but they're more than content to keep it simple at this point.
Yeah, I think your point earlier is well taken. I think Team Berg really would like to shorten the game. I think they'd like to keep pushing this hammer as long as they can. And if Sophia is going to allow them to blank, then they will.
If you blank the next 4 and take 1 in the 10th, that gives you the game. I think it was Matt Dunstone a couple years ago was saying he always wanted to go into the 5th end break tied with. If they could do that, they felt like they had a chance to win the game.
It's
Probably
a
curl.
5-end game, and you got the hammer
It's
3
probably
times.
curl. Whoa, whoa. Very nice. Really nice, Brooke.
Do you want to do controller the same weight?
Morgan finishing that one in nicely, gets a piece of the top
Let's
4.
just do the same weight. I'll give you less room.
Good discussion there from Gracia to Wayland and the hack here, which is, I'll throw the same weight, I'll just give you less broom. What that sounds to me is that you threw the first one pretty good, just a little heavier than we called. So give me the same weight, I'll give you less ice.
A little bit of a wobble on that slide though, and I think as a result it got a little wide, so looking to bring this one over and hopefully just pick it out. Looks like she succeeded.
Couple smiles out there after the wobble, I see.
Top 4.
Gets the job done. More fun facts this time from Team Berg, now that lead Raylan Trask has thrown her rocks. Shout out to all the 4-H kids out there. One of Raylan's hobbies listed is showing chickens, and I have to say, I feel like curling has a lot of 4-H competitors as well, and some crossover
Morgan,
there. So
switch.
good to see that that's still alive.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Speaking of the 5th end break, it says here she always has applesauce at the 5th end break.
Whoa.
The applesauce packets are great. Takes about 2 seconds to slurp one down, and it's liquid calories right into your veins.
Let's do control.
Exactly. So looking to make another intern hit here. A little more ice for Brooklyn than we gave for Wayland here. This one's curling quite a bit. Hit and roll to the side. That's a very good spot to roll to. Forces Team Ryhorchuk to play a very different part of the ice. Maybe you get a miss out of them and split the rings.
Yeah, great roll. I think that's the kind of roll you're looking for on those hits. It's just to move play out of the middle.
100%.
Whoa.
Ellie here coming out.
Curl.
Appears to be a bit wide. They're bringing it over. She will remove it from play, but leaves the rings, and this will give Gracia and her
that
team
was
a
a
chance to
9-0,
draw.
and that curled so much. Yeah, thank you. No, I'm just thinking that on that outside there, it will curl. Well, yeah, if it was control, it would have been good. Good job.
You hear Team Ryhorchuk talking through that one. I think it's great to see the level of communication that a lot of these teams have, the banter, the discord that you see going on. I think it really helps. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody's thinking the same things. Those little things that we talked about, even in the first end, being the separating factor. I think that's a case in point example of it.
I'm a big proponent of what I call kind of a feedback loop on every shot. And that feedback is Skip tells the sweepers kind of what he saw or she saw, and that information gets back to the shooter. And all of that information is not to point fingers on why we missed. It's how we can make the next shot.
And hard!
Yeah. It's super important.
Hard! Whoa.
A bit of a mistake here for Morgan, coming up a little short.
It's not in, bud.
This will allow Gracia to draw around it.
Like the peel.
She's going to peel. Shows you their intent here is certainly to blank. They have no intention of scoring.
Yeah. Keep the game short, like you said.
Exactly. Stick with your game plan. If that's the plan, stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa, curl. Curl. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it hard.
Rolls across the face, but makes the peel and rolls almost all the way out.
Yeah.
Do you like drawing here? Or do you just want to draw here? Draw here. Same shot.
Good discussion there. I think if you put one on the wing there, it brings a chance for the guard, at least as an optical illusion, to come into play. But the reality is, if you put one in the middle, it makes the rollout a little bit harder. And if their goal is to blank,
Looks better.
you're trying to make it as difficult as possible.
Yes, sir.
Right, I would not be putting anything anywhere near that guard if
Take
I'm Team Ryhorchuk.
Yeah. You ever come a little bit deep just off the
Whoa,
rings, gives her
bro.
some backing to freeze to, and now
Curl.
the deuce is in play.
Or even she makes a really good hit and roll behind that guard. I think you could maybe hide half that or a
Really
quarter of the
nice,
rock at least.
Morgan. Great
Yes.
adjustment.
Do you like roll into the open?
Another smart call here.
Normal.
If your intent is to blank, don't get anywhere near the guard either. Neither team wants to go anywhere near that.
Nope, too risky. So this brings up an interesting discussion, as Team Berg is obviously content to blank the 6th. Presumably they would prefer to then blank the 7th as well to retain hammer in the 8th and keep it moving as long as they can. Do we see Team Ryhorchuk and Sophia as their skip? They've consistently been coming in as a chance to kind of force play into the house. Do we see her throw up that center guard for the first time this game in the 7th to try and force or even maybe take the edge on a steal?
Yeah, if I was their coach, Anya, I think I would be coming out and asking him to throw a center guard and try to force the play here.
So cool.
Even if you give up a deuce, you got the hammer back playing the 8th end. If you ever get a force, you got the hammer down 1 playing 8, you're in a really good position there.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be interested in seeing my team throw at least one guard.
Ali said that'd be fine.
Berg will probably go around it, and then you freeze, and then game on.
Yep.
You certainly don't want to allow Berg to blank. They've shown you their hand, right? They're saying we want to blank as long as we can.
Yep.
Whoa!
My shot.
Sweepers held this one out a little bit.
It should stick around right at the edge there. It's spinning. Oh, good one.
That is a brutal
Do you
biter.
like normal?
Actually,
I like normal.
These are harder shots for younger players to get all the way out to that broom. It's not.
on this side.
These are not gimmies.
If it's
These are harder shots for
I
older
know.
players, if you're asking me.
100%. 100%.
if it's inside the half of the 8.
The other thing you could do here is,
It's
I
gonna,
think this is a shot that's
fall.
underutilized, is just play the other turn.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, you're sliding all the way to the sideline here. If you play the
yeah,
other
but if you
turn
remember mine
on
too,
good ice
same
here
with
is pretty
like the
predictable.
front
So
stuff. But if you're
maybe an
outside
easier
of
way to
the
hit it.
then it doesn't
Yeah.
go a lot.
We have seen the hits have been moving more dramatically inside out than outside in this week.
well, that may be a reason to stay away from it then. Yep.
Right. I think the line here is more predictable, but you're right. The slide is a little bit harder. She makes it like a gem though, so this is going to roll back house.
Fell on my face.
Sophia's going to have to hit
Take it
and
out.
respond, and with it being back house, Gracia will have a relatively easier rollout opportunity.
Correct.
Blank.
Yep.
So that says U18 National Champions 2019, but isn't that the year you won? Is that the year before? Yeah, you won 2018.
See Gracia looking at the banners in this club. They've got a lot of their championship banners on the walls, including the 2019 U18 National Champions. For those of you who don't know, the Broomstones Curling Club has a very, very deep history of success, particularly in junior curling. You look at a lot of the more recent graduates from this program, Jenna Brzeski being one of them, who we mentioned earlier. Corey Dropkins come from this, as well as Steven Dropkin. People forget Steven sometimes.
Who can forget Steven? Cindy Mulaney. There's so many names that have come out of this club. And the club itself has always been a big supporter of junior curling. In fact, my last junior nationals was in this club in 2003.
Yeah.
So they've hosted this event multiple times and are always good to the juniors.
Me too.
The blank attempt coming here. Looks like she may not get the roll.
Curling a bit more than they expected.
So they will be forced to one.
There you have it. Well, that negates the conversation we had about what Sophia would do in the 7th, because now she's got hammer. So with that, Team Berg takes one in the 6th end. That will give them the 4-3 lead heading into the 7th, where Sophia and her team will have hammer throwing the red rocks.
All right.
We'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, me too. You like it?
Just because you're not a professional athlete doesn't mean that you should accept less. The beauty about what Thorn does is our product quality is the same whether they're in the athletic line or whether they're just for the everyday person. Thorn has kept true to never compromising on quality, never compromising on efficacy, never compromising on safety for not only athletes but for everyone who would use their products.
Okay, then whoa.
And we're back here in the 7th end
You want to hit?
of the 2023 USA Curling Junior National Championships, live from the Broomstones Curling Club in Wayland, Massachusetts. We have the women's tiebreaker game as our feature game today. Team Berg taking a 4-3 lead after 6 against Team Ryhorchuk. Want to take a moment, say thanks to our friends at Floor Curl. USA Curling member clubs are entitled to a 20% discount on any Floor Curl inflatable rink set. These rinks only take a minute to inflate and deflate. Another perfect way to promote your club at summer festivals, events, or anywhere where they have a flat surface. No ice required. Visit usacurling.floorcurl.com and use promo code FC Inflatable 20. That's FC Inflatable 20 for your 20% off. I will say my home club is using this in a few outreach opportunities, mostly with high schools and youth events, and so far I think it's been a great opportunity.
I'm actually planning on bringing a kit to my daughter's school later this year when I get back. So we have a couple kits at our club too.
Get close.
It really is fun for the kids, especially for younger kids who have never even seen the sport. Gives them a chance to at least get an idea of what they're doing, and the kids all have a fun time sliding those little inflatable rocks.
I remember the during the Briar and the Scotties watching, they have the commercials, and it's always you know, Caitlin Laws or Rachel Homan or somebody's out there at a high school working with these different kids, and it's really cool to see it. But it actually, if you've ever done it in person, it's actually very similar to that commercial. It's not totally staged. So it's really cool just to see how kids react to it. It's a really interesting thing.
So on our feature sheet here, Gracia decided to put her first rock in the rings, and Sophia decided to hit it. So we've exchanged hits here. It certainly appears that Sophia would look to blank this end and take the hammer into 8.
Same question could have been asked for Gracia about putting up one center guard at least, just to give it a shot, force play in. But she seems quite content to maybe do the same in 8th and see if she can get a steal.
I guess the question is, you know, if you're in the 8th end, would you want to be down with the hammer or up 1 without?
Right.
My feeling is I like to be down 1 with the hammer playing 8. So if I'm Berg's team, I would have been throwing a guard here in the 7th end to try to force the play a little bit. But
absolutely,
as we said, they've been content to kind of keep the game shorter. So maybe that's all part of the plan.
I think what's interesting about that is, as we talked about, it's a strategy, and it seems that both teams are in on the same strategy. Both teams are fine with that shorter game, and despite the fact that there's only been one blank, they've been playing that blank opportunity with the exception of a couple ends.
Yeah, really, like the 3rd and the 4th were when we had a bunch of rocks in play, and
yeah.
Clean.
On the boys' game here, looks like Gunsel has a little in-off kind of cross-house double here to really put some pressure on. It's not quite going to get the roll, so be on the nose, and looks to me like Team Graybow is laying 1. Does that look right, Sean?
I think Graybow's laying 1.
So it looks like they can just draw for their deuce.
They could draw for their deuce. I actually think they have a potential in-turn tap for 3, although they're not looking at it, so maybe they don't feel like it's there.
Oh, I see that through the hole, right? That looks... I would be content taking my 2 and tying the game here.
Agreed. The out-turn draw for 2 is much simpler.
Yeah, it's a big deuce here, tie the game after the 6th.
Absolutely.
So just exchanging hits here on our featured sheet.
Control. Yeah, I know.
But it's important not to lose your focus on these shots. Sometimes you can get complacent on these open hits and get a mistake.
Yeah.
So it's really important to maintain your focus.
To your point earlier, I think, especially on these wide ones where you're going way out there, it takes so much mental effort to make those slides way out on the wings. You see the roll out there. It seems like the miss is almost always wide on those.
Oh gosh. It's okay. It probably throw horribly.
It looks like Graybow made a nice shot for his deuce there. Nice draw to the button.
So they'll tie it up. That score will be 6-6 after 6 ends. Team Gunsel will have hammer in the 7th.
Yes! Brooklyn!
Definitely been more rocks in play on the men's game than the women's game this morning.
Which is a little bit surprising because most of the time these boys teams just like to hit everything.
Push it, push it.
But that's not been the case today.
I was talking with Mason a little bit before the game. I think they felt very comfortable with a lot of rocks in play and felt like that was their best chance to kind of take it to Connor and his team. But Connor seems to be more than happy trading punches with them in that sense.
Throw like firm.
Gunsel has the big steal of 3 in the 3rd, but Connor's responded with getting his deuce in 4 and another deuce in 6. So definitely a good battle there.
I he scored 2 with hammer, 3 times or 2 out of 4 times, I guess.
Yep. I think it also just goes to show. I mean, you've got a really competitive field here when they're all this close. And again, these teams have played each other probably as many as any in the field. And it just goes to show that on any given Sunday, any of these teams could pull it out.
Good job.
No mistake there for Morgan. Just makes the peel. Get rid of the guard. No reason to stick around.
Good shot, Morgan.
like you said, that guard's there. There's always a chance to draw around and maybe manufacture two, but both of these teams seem quite content to get the two on their terms or not at all.
Okay, careful. Where?
Even though we can't hear the front end players on the microphones, it's obvious how good the communication is with both of these teams.
Oh yeah. For reference, for everybody at home, each team gets 2 mics, and so some teams do one front end and one back end. Some teams do the 2 back end. Some teams will even do the 2 front end just for commentary's sake. But it is really nice to hear that no matter what, you can always figure out that somebody's talking, and there's good communication back and forth.
On our team the last 2 years, we always made sure that Marius Kleinus got a microphone for the humor value.
Whoa, just clean. Whoa, just
Shout out
clean.
to Marius. Marius is another Broomstone product, right?
Yeah, Cape Cod here, yep, both.
Yeah.
I think you probably played in both clubs.
Curl
Yeah.
Brook.
Chase Sinnott, there's so
Whoa.
many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Chase has been here this week. Chase was coaching Team Ponzio this week. Did a wonderful job.
That's
But
not
yeah,
bad.
I can absolutely see where Marius is there for the entertainment value. And so shout out to Marius. His dad's been here most of the week,
Go to the middle.
hanging out. So
I mean, if we stay there, that's good too. So tired.
I know. I saw. I know it was a joke, but like.
you hear some of the communication there, the reference of the word tired. It's definitely been a long week for some of these athletes,
Yeah,
and
there's a couple of yawns out there I've seen.
yeah. It doesn't help, especially for the women's field. They played their last round robin game this morning, and then we're right back on the ice with almost no break for this tiebreaker game.
Yeah, the winner of this game has to play a third game today. That could be a very difficult one, especially when they're tight ends.
Okay.
Right. The men's side, they had their last round robin draw last night, so they got out of here around 11 p.m., but then didn't have to be back until this game started just after 1. So I think there's definitely pros and cons to each side schedule-wise, but like you said, the potential for 3 10-end games, whoever wins this tiebreak on the women's side, they'll be warm. They'll have a lot of reps, but they're going to have to go up against a team that played this morning and then had the afternoon off, and it'll be an interesting dichotomy there.
Yeah, I always think that the fatigue, sure, I mean, your body gets tired, especially the sweepers, arms, and shoulders. But I think it's the mental fatigue that really you need to fight against for all 4 players. It's easy to kind of lose your focus in that third game of the day when you start to get tired, which is why, being physically fit is so important in our sport, because that physical fitness does correlate to mental strength too.
Yeah. There's a resiliency that it provides. I think personally my record for games was 4 10-end games in a day. And by the third game, you get physically numb. You actually, you don't feel sore, you don't feel tired because you're just numb to it. But mental exhaustion is, as you pointed out, it's very real. And I think you get to the third game, and if you, heaven forbid, you ever play a 4th game, once that sets in, it's really, really difficult to even do the littlest things at that point.
Yeah, years ago that Madison Cashville was 10Ms. We played 7 games on Saturday and Sunday. 7 10M games. That was just so exhausting.
You may or may not want to continue curling after that.
Yeah, at least when you play that many games, you're making it to the final. So there's at
That's
least
true.
a little bit of a reward at the end. But
Yeah.
so she's gonna hit and roll out.
Yep. Heard a little bit of a groan there from I think that was Gracia. I think she really wanted to stick it just to make Sophia hit it right back, but this gives Sophia a chance to get her draw weight dialed in.
Yeah. No, I should run my massage gun.
More talk about some physical therapy there with the massage gun. Like I said, it's very much on their minds.
It's a long week.
Good job, bud.
My apologies there. I forgot Sophia had hammers, so she's just bombing it through at that point.
Nice.
Easy run.
Okay.
So with that,
Corner guard.
score remains 4-3 in favor of Team Berg, but Team Ryhorchuk will carry the hammer into the 8th end. With 3 to play, it's a great spot for both teams to be in. I don't think any of them mind this at this point.
guards are going in, but
I know you said corner guards, but it was in the house.
The everyday person may not aspire to be a professional athlete or an Olympic athlete. You may just want to be the best person you can be. You just may want to sleep better. You may want to feel better. Thorne has many products that can support all of those things. So it's not just about performing or running faster or jumping higher. It's those little things that go into having a higher quality of life.
And welcome back to the 2023 Junior National Championships for USA Curling here at the Broomstones Curling Club in Wayland, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston.
Gotta curl.
During the commercial break there, we had a really interesting opportunity to listen to the conversations between both the skips and their coaches at the home end. And kind of to the point that you and I have been talking about all game, that discussion about when do you throw the guard, how much offense do you want. Sophia Rhyhorchuk is ecstatic to have hammer in the 8th end, and that was kind of her goal, and Anya agreed with that. And meanwhile, Gracia Berg was talking about, do we go ahead and throw in? Do we think that they're going to go hard for a 2 here, or do we throw up the guard and see if we can put a little bit of pressure on them and not allow them to carry the hammer on from here?
Yeah, you hear Kent Barther, Team Berg's coach, discussing it with Gracia, and I like the decision to throw the guard. I think you got to put a little bit of pressure on your opponent here.
Curl. Gotta get it
Nice
off.
2 guard from Gracia Berg and her squad, and you see Sophia looking to throw the corner, but it just doesn't quite curl off that center line as much as they had hoped, and so it's just kind of guarding the side of the forefoot there, which then makes a port, but not much more than a port there.
Yeah, all 4 players on that team were surprised that it rocked didn't curl. You can hear all of them.
The curl this week has been pretty consistent, but we did notice as the week went on, seems like maybe due to the pebbling, the centers are getting just a hair high, and so there's that last minute climb when you're throwing the corner guard where it just doesn't quite get over the center line as early as you want it to. And it's hard. I think if you take 6 inches less ice, that guard's probably curling another 4 feet. So.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing last night watching a game on sheet 2. On sheet 3. So not this sheet, but on sheet 3 with Jeff Isaacson, we noticed the same thing. Just didn't run across the center.
Like another guard?
I feel like that's fairly common for events as the week goes on, just based on ice prep and conditions and things, but something for the players to keep an eye on for sure.
Do we ever do this?
On her second rock, Raylan Trask goes for the draw behind and slips a little deep, so she's half on the house at the very back of the 12-foot.
Draw in.
Sophia kind of having a discussion with her team. Are they going around theirs? Are they going around the Yellowstone? Are they trying to tick theirs and kind of open it up a little bit so they get that corner guard they were looking for? But ultimately choosing to draw around the Yellowstone, sit in the top 4. And as you said earlier, game on.
Game on. Yeah, I like the decision here. I think because there are 2 guards, and most likely there'll be guards the whole end.
Yep.
So let's just beat them in the center. Try to get our 2 that way.
Oh, sorry.
Again, a touch heavy on the draw around.
Sliding deep again, too, yeah.
It will sit for shot rock, but full back 12. Corner frozen on the yellow back there.
This will allow Team Berg to try to bury one top 4 here.
Talk all the time about wanting to control the top of the house and specifically the forefoot when you can get a chance. And both teams, I feel like this was very similar to that second end where both teams have had a chance but haven't really been able to to grab that control.
Yeah, throughout the game, I've heard both coaches mention we need to get our rocks in front of the tee line.
Oh, you gotta
Front of
be
the tee
here.
line. And as you see again here, there's 2 rocks behind the tee line.
Hard.
This is looking pretty good here.
Yeah, Brooklyn did a great
Push,
job
push,
taking the
push,
weight
push,
off
push.
of this, and the sweepers did a fantastic job getting it right to where they wanted it.
Good judge. I think Sophia's making the
Peel.
right play here. It was trying to clear these guards out of here and make sure we
Hard
score.
or
Yep.
peel.
Can't
Firm.
allow any steals
Go
in
firm.
your situation here with Hammer down 1.
Agreed. A couple of good things could happen here. You could get the double peel. You could actually, if you hit it just right, you can end up pushing one of your reds into the house, which wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah! Hard, Brooke!
Taps it.
Touches the red, but good outcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
Did
bad.
get the red with a little further
it.
away from the center, which is also
I got it. I got it.
Yeah, great result for Team Ryhorchuk on that one. Gracia Berg recognizing the situation, calling for another tight guard here. She's happy to have Sophia and her team wasting rocks on peeling. Shorten the end, shorten the game.
This is important guard though. If she shows her half a rock and allows her to chase that shot rock, all of a sudden 3 comes into play, and the tables turn quickly.
Absolutely,
Red.
line is
You got
paramount
it,
here.
Pearl. Pearl! Pearl!
If it has enough legs, it'll curl.
Hard! Hard! Even if
It's definitely coming in now. Both Wayland and Brooklyn going hard on it.
That's all right.
Yeah, she can definitely see either one really.
No!
If you hit the high one, you need to make sure you roll to out count.
If you're wide, then you
The
just
biter
get
in the
this
back.
one.
Yes,
Okay?
absolutely.
No control. I don't hate control down.
I think as long as she gets the roll, she'll be able to outcount the biter in the back. That shouldn't be the problem. I agree. This is probably the more dangerous rock right now. So
I agree, yeah.
Whoa, curl!
You just really want to stay here.
Curl!
Not a lot of weight.
Gonna catch it a little thin, and it is gonna roll out, which not the worst case, but you definitely would have liked to have kept that
Yeah,
shooter.
not the worst. I got it.
Yeah, it sounded like Sophia was asking for a control down,
Like
and that
the
seemed a
three?
little bit more like a normal, 9.5
Okay.
second hit. So
Yeah, a little spicy.
No. I don't know what happened with Brooke's first one because I gave like the proper line.
You hear Morgan and
Take on
Sophia
the
kind of
three.
talking about that guard that just didn't curl.
3.
Maybe they haven't had that experience yet.
Curl! Brother! Push! 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 Hard! Hard! All the way! All the way! All the way! All the way! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
very good guard there.
Wonderful placement. On sheet 3, we've got Mason
like
Gunsel
Pio?
throwing his hammer shot in the 7th.
Looking for 2.
And it looks like it's good enough.
It looks like it's 2. Yeah, he had a little intern draw, but he was a little heavy and was able to come down to the back one and punch it for 2.
Whoa!
So that'll
Yep.
increase that score. They're looking at 7-5. Gunsel leads Grabo
Okay.
going into the
Good job.
8th end. Grabo will have hammer, looking for a deuce or more.
And I guess Gunsel's left-handed, so that was his out turn.
Yeah,
Yes. Silly lefties. They make it so complicated.
always getting in the way. I had that discussion with him because he's from that other hack. You can see things that the rest of your teammates can't, or maybe the other skip can't. So it gives you certain opportunities. It can also take away certain opportunities. So it's always an interesting dynamic.
Where is it? Curl! Curl!
So with Team Ryhorchuk peeling off that guard from Team Berg on the last one, Team Berg will happily plop it right back and play
Well
this
placed.
game as long as they're allowed to.
Well placed again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little over curl, and it slipped in on this one. There's a couple of ways that Sophia and
It's
her team
almost
can
nose.
make this that will
Yeah, almost nose.
leave them
normal.
sitting 2 even.
That's gonna give you nightmares. Stop. I've never thought about that before. Now I'm never going to say that again. Ah! Yes!
They are going hard on this as it's coming down,
Whoa.
but it looks really close to nose. She
Okay.
does make contact,
Nice try.
but stuffs the runner.
The guard. The guard. Yeah. Guard the middle.
Yeah, it looks like yellow is number 3 in the back. So for Team Berg, it's fairly safe if you want to
It was
guard
right
this.
in between. It was
Yeah.
so close.
If you weren't number 3, I think you probably need to get another yellow into the rings.
Absolutely.
It's between those rocks. Oh no! As soon as.
But the question is, what are you guarding? Are you guarding the draw
What? Wait.
so that
Okay.
Team Ryhorchuk cannot make that draw, or
Give me a
are
last.
you guarding the run back?
Because I was hoping.
Because those are very different spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think ideally you're just on that kind of right side of center as the thrower looks at it. Try and prevent the open hit, but also make the run, the angle run, a little bit harder.
I don't mind drawing right around the red one, to be quite honest.
If you ever buried one in there, it'd be really
Pretty good.
Did you ever want? Yeah, you had
Because-
perfect normal.
If you throw the guard, you
Yep, go!
probably can't guard both the draw and
Yes!
the run back. So she's going to have something, which is the draw here.
She's gonna. I mean, she technically has the
She wants.
hit.
She likes the hole, but I think it's probably going to jam.
Well, I'm wondering if you throw bumper weight at this, does it curl enough to where you get through that hole, get it a hair low, and sit 3?
Go this way.
It certainly curls the other direction on this side of the sheet. So
Yeah.
You think we could get it?
I pointed to it, remember?
Yeah, that's true. Control?
Underline.
Thanks.
Looking for control here. This is this could be a really big shot for the game here.
I know, but worst case is we peel, though, right?
Sophia discussing with both Morgan and her sweepers kind of what the pro side misses here and why she likes this shot.
Just control.
yeah, her other option is to play the draw right now. If she doesn't make this perfect, she's going to have to make the draw on her next one.
Good point.
Whether it's for 1 or 2.
Curling early out of her hand. And it just clips that guard.
Hey,
I think we'll do the
the
same
intern
thing.
draw path is pretty
Just
tough
a hair
now.
less, though.
Yeah, you're right.
It was really close.
Yeah, just right. Yeah, right where Gracia just indicated, just across the center. Should take away the run back and the hole onto the yellow. And then Sophia's going to have her hands full.
Same thing.
She does have her not so far out corner that if she needed to run something else, she could. So she'll have an option, but it's getting a little hairier from
Absolutely.
a degree of difficulty perspective.
Whoa, you really got to curl.
It should curl enough. They're worried it's not going
Where
to
is
curl,
it?
but I think it will.
Can we curl? Curl! Curl!
I think it's a little bit heavier than they expected as well.
If
So
they cross the nose of that red, it's really nice. Oh, that's a good spot, I think. Can she make that little run back on the red?
it's a great spot. I think she can see just enough of it to make the run back and stick it for 2.
Yeah.
I think all she really needs is about 3/4, and I think she has just 3/4.
Yeah, I think you're right. Is the other one any easier? That's what they're discussing. Looks like Sophia likes this intern.
Yeah. I think the risk with the other one is I think you have a higher chance of, like, if you ever stuff the red onto the yellow onto the red,
I mean, I'd like
and
to get as
the
much
runner
of it
rolls
as
out,
possible.
you do have a chance of giving up up to 2 there. Unlikely, but there's a risk. I think this one kind of mitigates
No,
your
I
risk
think
on
we
that.
save it just for a little bit. I mean, there's not very much else. So normal, right?
Yeah, I think if she hits everything she can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah? You didn't know that? Guys, what's wrong with you? I'm so tired.
Down here, good at all. Normal.
I always appreciate the banter that happens for front end players when it's not their shot and skip rocks. You see Wayland and Brooklyn over there having a conversation. Those are the things that keep it light. Allie going hard on Sophia's rock coming down.
Oh, touched them both, but still got the one.
Do
Well
they
swept to just keep it out there, just enough.
just enough? Team Ryhorchuk gets one there.
I was
Little
didn't
too
go around
thick
and
to
grab
get
that
two,
rock,
but
then-
good
yeah.
enough for one.
Hey, we just gotta throw
That'll
job,
tie
bud.
the score
We
up
just gotta-
4-4
Wait.
and have Team Berg with last rock in this ninth
No,
end.
this is a 9, so.
We'll be back momentarily from
Okay.
Broomstones Curling Club.
Like throwing it.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
And welcome back to the 2023 USA Curling Junior National Championship, live from Broomstones Curling Club in Wayland, Massachusetts. This Friday afternoon, we have the men's and women's tiebreak games.
Oh, sorry.
Winners of these games get the 4th seed in the Paige playoff. Losers are out.
It's done.
All 4 of the teams that we have on the ice this afternoon came into this game with a 3-4 record and had good enough draw shot challenges to get themselves into this game, as opposed to the 3rd team in each field, which was eliminated on DSC.
Mine's tight.
In the women's game here, our feature game, we have
It's here.
Team Ryhorchuk and Team Berg knotted at 4 each, with Team Berg having hammer in the 9th. For the first time this game, it looks like Sophia Rhyhorchuk has chosen to throw a center guard on her first. Team Berg will come in, draw to the wings,
Good shot.
Yeah,
Try and-
good shots there.
trying to pull play away from the
Okay.
middle.
Top 4.
Sophia,
Well, actually, do you want to do double?
not phased by it, keeping play to the middle.
Okay.
Discusses with her team, and they elect to throw the double center guard. Made that first one so well. If they can keep this one high, they'll have great separation.
Yeah, Brooke can make a good high guard here. We should be set up for a pretty fun end.
It looks like more than that.
For the 120-something of you at home watching this and listening to us, we apologize. It's great to have you with here. We love the viewership, and we do know that the athletes appreciate it. We've had multiple athletes
good.
shouting out
Glad you did it.
Do I
friends,
like this?
family, teachers, whatever it needs to get extra credit. These athletes have always been good about appreciating all of you at home, so we want to do the same, and thank you for tuning in. Another nice center guard there, maybe a hair deeper than I think they wanted,
Okay, well,
but all good nonetheless.
So if this rock settles
If
around
we
the tee
can
line, you'll
curl,
see
but-
Team Ryhorchuk
Whoa,
go right
no,
around their
it's-
center
it's
guards.
back here.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
curl.
presumably
Yep.
you'll see Team Berg
Yep,
try to
curl
make
to
a
8.
double peel,
Curl to 8. Yep.
and then we'll go from there. Well placed there, those. That's a good.
Yeah.
Right under,
Good
Allie.
drop.
Top ball. 8.
This is one of the discussions I've been having internally with myself as I've watched it this week. I see a lot of teams in this position, the position that Team Berg is in with the hammer. They draw to the wing, but they put rocks on opposite sides of the wings. And my problem with this was always you limit your room to throw peels
Whoa,
because now you
Kyle!
don't have a clean side to rip off those reds.
Where?
And I think what we've seen a lot this week is a lot of these peels end up stuffing at one point in the end on those. And if
Curl!
Sophia's patient and just leaves those, there's a reasonable chance that over the next 6 rocks they'll end up jamming on something.
Yeah, that's a good point. And on top
Really
of that,
nice.
if you are comfortable
see
blanking
here?
like Team Berg is, grouping your 2 yellows together on the same side is not a problem,
Right.
right?
You almost want them to throw the double at that point.
Exactly.
Already liked his appeal. Hack?
I think you got a peel.
Sure, hack.
I like the peel here, but they're going to chase the shot rock.
Yeah. If you tick one of the guards, it's great. Hack's going to be tough because you'd like to make sure you get enough of it to really move it, but
Yeah, I think it's so early in the end. I think I'd be playing that peel. And if you ever get 2 red ones moving,
Whoa.
bonus.
Whoa.
I mean that double is almost lined up that if you make the double peel, you're
Close
probably
it.
getting the triple on the one in the house. So
It curls so much here, though. She can get to the nose of this rock.
oh, without a doubt, squeaks by that guard, absolutely
Excellent.
papers it,
It's an excellent shot.
and flops under. Not a bad spot at all.
Run! Freeze!
Team
The other-
Ryhorchuk's going to have to make another great shot here just to stay in it.
I did like the peel, but playing that hackway shot was not bad in that situation because the rock is high enough in the rings. So
Yeah.
when the yellow sits on the nose, she's barely in the 4-foot.
Yeah,
So that when Team Ryhorchuk freezes, that rock is only 8 foot.
and she can outdraw that for a second point.
Exactly, right.
Yeah, I guess if you're Sophia and her squad, that draw around you kind of want that on the tee line because it's going to mitigate what they can do afterwards.
Exactly.
Strike the peel.
Little heavy on the freeze attempt. So
One thing here for Gracia is I'm not sure she looked at where that jam rock is behind her. And maybe she did before I saw it, but it's important to know where this red rock is going
yeah,
because that's your 2 points. Your 2 points are the ones that are spread out right now.
I do like opening it up at this
I agree.
point.
Safely over the top. Well done.
Perfect throw.
And Team Ryhorchuk is making a decision here, which is
Tiny tap.
we're going to
will be
stay
fine.
aggressive and try to force you,
Yeah,
risking a multiple score.
yeah. I think at this point, given how they set this up, they don't have a choice at this point. You kind of have to stay aggressive and trust that if you make all of your shots, the worst you're going to do is give up 2.
Especially with the separation that yellow currently has. There's no doubles. There's really no way to make a good hit and roll. So you have no choice but to make this freeze.
Right.
This is an important one to
Kyle!
throw to your sweepers. What I mean is you don't want to be heavy.
No.
Even if you end up a little short here is
It's
useful.
not heavy. I don't.
If you go past it or bounce off, it makes your life pretty tough.
Yep. And they do chap off it there, leaving it open and exposed.
Like
So give
that.
Gracia a chance to hit and
Okay.
add another yellow to the
Normal.
mix.
I think you'd like to hit and roll away here.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to stay in the middle, which is what I believe she called the hit and stay in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever roll to the wing and pile
great.
another one in the 12-foot.
She may roll away anyways.
Curl, hard curl.
It's okay. Even the roll out is okay.
Yeah.
You still got 3 in there. Red doesn't have a lot of places to hide.
You want to try same thing? Just a little less.
To your point, on Sophia's last, the Team Ryhorchuk last, the tap they made, it does move that yellow a little closer to the team line which does kind of shrink that scoring area for Team
Yes.
Berg at the end of the day if they are able to successfully make these freezes.
Make it make. That's good.
You're definitely never expecting a miss out of the other team, but if you get a miss out of the other team, there's always that's going to open your window for opportunity, particularly when you're aggressive like this.
Yep. Well, it can't bounce, so yes.
Same small error there, just a little bounce. Another good opportunity to hit and roll away. But that yellow rock gets closer and closer to the tee line every time, doesn't it?
Whoa.
This one again, hanging out a little further than they expected, curling it over at the end.
It curls a lot there. She's
Gets the one, rolls out again, but again, like you said, that's the acceptable miss there. Sophia now having to play the out turn, come the other way at this one.
Yeah, I'll just give less room.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of out turns on this spot. We did see it in, was it the fifth end, I think we played this turn, but...
Wait. What? Can't have any bounce.
Yeah, you hear Sophia telling her sweepers we cannot bounce off. Even if you draw the top of the 8-foot behind the red rock, makes it tough for those wingers to score.
Right. Yeah. If you could just eliminate 2 of the rocks with a decent draw, that's all you need.
Have you smoked today? Yeah, I can tell.
Quick update on sheet 3 with the men's tiebreaker game. Team Gunsel had a lot of rocks packed in the middle and managed to steal 2 in the 8th end against Team Grabo. That gives them a 9-5 lead going into the 9th. Team Gunsel has thrown their first rock through the house, and Team Grabo is putting up a corner, needing to get hopefully 3 or 4 here, but at a minimum 2.
Pretty good line, but just a pinch lighter.
Don't really like messing with the guards.
I think you have 2 options here. If you like the double peel, you can make it. It's not the easiest. If not, you just make a good draw and force Sophia to outdraw you.
Yeah.
I like coming here.
Because Sophia's going to have to probably risk the game on a draw in the next shot.
Yeah. Gracia likes the draw. I think
we don't want the guards.
if she's feeling the draw, I think you got to give it to her.
But we're not going to be able to get both of them.
Getting rid of both guards is probably the best outcome.
Yeah.
But again, there's a little bit of risk. You can run it into your own.
Good.
You can,
Do you like that?
nose it. That would be bad too. So I think the draw is probably the shot.
This way.
Unless you can throw about 6 seconds, it's really hard to get rid of both and not risk jamming one or both of them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Something. We'll see.
Yeah.
Risk for reward. Risk can't be behind T, okay? But we got to be in.
You hear Sophia talk about her next shot. Talking about risk versus reward.
I don't want to mess with them.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to be able to get both
She
of
could
them.
even on her next shot, if she wants to, draw the back of the 8-foot.
we want to be in.
And just try to hide it.
Just got to keep it above T.
Anything to eliminate the 2 wing shots.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we got it.
Good communication in the hack here on the weight
Just
here.
curl it once it passes the red.
Maybe. It depends where she places this, right?
So Gracia Berg trying to tuck another yellow in here. It'd be great to tuck half of it.
It'll be curl.
I don't know.
Whoa. Whoa.
I like that spot though.
That's fine. That's good.
Actually, it's pretty good because she can use her own yellow. If Sophia gets around the shot rock, she can play kind of a yellow.
Yeah. If you're Sophia here, are you ever throwing the in-turn around the one that she just threw, knowing that it's edge on edge? It would be a little bit harder for her to run it nose and maybe even show her a piece and tempt her into trying to pick it out.
That's not a bad idea. The only thing I'd be concerned with is the ice. It just curls so hard there that you got to put the broom outside the 12-foot probably to make that.
Yep, that's a good point.
But
Draw.
I like your thought, though. If you do bury one on the intern side,
I like the draw better.
then Gracia probably has an out turn near the forefoot for 2.
Yep.
And only 2.
If I'm right
Yep.
here, that's good.
But Sophia can
If I'm
play the
right
out
here,
turn to the
also
forefoot as well.
Like right
Yeah,
there.
she could beat her to that spot. And even,
Draw.
I think what we were seeing there is she says if I corner freeze on top, it makes her getting 2 harder. If I ever get one around and sit shot, it could cap her at 2 or 2 at best, but potentially a steal and potentially just 1. So
After Sophia throws her rock, if Gracia has all she has is a draw for 2, that was a win.
yep.
Right.
The other thing I like about this is the exact same line that Sophia just threw
So
on
we
her.
got a timeout here. It's not a bad idea, and it's a very important shot.
Yeah, we can listen in to the player mics and see what we can pick up from Sophia and her team.
You can't come out here. It's gonna come out here, but it can't. Do you think I can play real fast?
Yeah. I also see a lot of this one.
Yeah.
To try the double.
Yeah, but then
That's better than giving them 5.
well, I'm saying you bring up something in though.
Yeah. Hitting 4.
Yeah, I see that. What are you thinking?
We have the draw. We have the run. We have a tap. We have a double.
I want to do the double. No. Yeah.
I don't like it. Well, yeah. I was saying that there's the shot. Yeah, just naming options at
What are
this
you
point.
leaning towards?
Either the run or the draw.
Okay.
Either the run or the draw.
Okay. I think
I'd like to run more and more. I mean, this is really, it's overburied. I feel like
so.
the draw's not
So
the draw's
tell
not.
me this. If you do the run, what's the risk?
I miss and give them 5.
She wants her red back into our
No, she's saying the risk.
risk. I miss. What? What's the risk if you drop?
Same thing. Leave a wide open for a hand. And they get 5. Risk is 5 both ways. We're saying.
It is. So how can you hold this? Yourself
I wasn't giving you knuckles.
I like the run.
God, tuck in my shoulder.
I could definitely use some of these.
Okay. Just
They're nice, and they like are
Control.
not.
That's all you need. Okay?
Okay.
That's all you need. You can
Thank
do
you.
You got it, so
Love you.
visualize it.
Yep.
Not at all.
So you heard the coach Anya running through all the options when she first arrived.
It's just hitting
Sophia
almost
did not like
most.
the double.
It's
So
like
we
3
jumped off of that
quarters.
shot immediately, and then we talked about.
High side, yeah.
I say they talked about the 2 options, the run or the draw.
Like that.
They talked about the risk of each.
No, it's
And,
this side.
when they settled on the run, they were
So
all
this
in
side
agreement.
control.
Yeah. No, I think it was an effective timeout. I think from my perspective, the one thing that I'm maybe they're not factoring in here is the percentage chance of hitting this run versus the percentage chance of putting a draw in the 8-foot. And kind of to your point earlier, right? Even if it's back 8, you've outcounted 3 of their stones, and you've made it much harder on them to score any more than 2.
Because even if you make this run, Team Berg will have the slash on the yellow that they just threw.
Yeah. Unless she makes it absolutely perfectly and rolls low side a little bit more and puts it exactly where we talked about potentially drawing on the
Pretty good,
entrance side. We'll find out.
Find out in about 6 seconds.
There is a little bit of a margin here. She gets it a hair high.
It is high.
And this will just graze over the top.
Let's do the same way.
And this will leave Gracia a draw for 5.
I didn't set it.
It was interesting during that timeout, not only listening to Team Ryhorchuk, but listening to Team Berg and their discussion.
We have backstops. We got it. Let's hog it.
I am confused.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a big
Oh, it's okay. I just hear it. Sometimes you just need to
So
be in me. Yeah.
Gracia Berg is
Sometimes
drawn in
needs
for
to
her
be
5
drawn
here
on.
in the 9th end. Sweepers are not interested in sweeping it.
It definitely looks a little toasty.
If it gets a contact on this yellow, it's all good.
And it does. Just what she needed.
Let's just chat about it.
So 5 yellow gives Team Berg a 9-4 advantage heading into the final end. Team Ryhorchuk will have hammer. And Team Ryhorchuk has decided that that will be it for them this week.
Good game. Good game. Should we bring down the rocks?
So congratulations to Team Berg on winning the tiebreak. They'll be the number 4 seed in the playoffs tonight at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Wait, you guys went to Ben and Jerry's
yesterday. Sign off, I just want to personally thank all the parents out there for all their help with junior curling across the country. Whether you're a parent of any of these players or a parent of another junior, I want to say thank you and keep up the good work.
Well,
Parents and just club members in general. I feel like there's a lot of people that are watching that may not even have any relation to these athletes, and we appreciate that. The more interest, the more attention obviously helps, but the more you do at a club level, whether it's running junior programs on a Saturday morning or volunteering at your club's junior spiel, we appreciate both friends and family that help out with that. It makes a big difference. This year's been like we talked about, a really interesting year for junior curling in the States. We're starting to see growth. These 8 teams that are here on both the men's and the women's side, 6 of them qualified at qualification events by being the top finisher. 2 of them were in on points based on tour events that they did, competing against adults. And so to have all that come together and see the level of competition just rising, we really need to thank everybody out there.
I know.
With that, we are going to pan over our broadcast. Oh, sorry. We are not going to pan over the broadcast, but we will talk about what's happening over here on sheet 3.
Team Gunston with a 4-point lead, just made a hit and a bit of a rollout, which was fine, to lay 1 in the back of the rings. Let's see how many rocks we have remaining. It looks like it's yellow's last shot, so it's Graybo's last shot. Appears he's going to try to blank the end, it looks like. Would you say, Sean? Back one?
Yeah.
Oof. If I were him, I would take your 1 here. You're down 4th. This would put you within 3, and then you can throw your 2 center guards, and with a no-tick roll, you have a good chance to steal. So,
but it appears he's trying to blank just based on the tight ice he took, right? Because the guard might be in play, but who knows?
Yeah, I think it looks like he's got enough room. I think if he plays normal weight, he can pull it off. Really quickly on the screen, you see the filled out version of this Paige playoff bracket for the women's side. Team Berg, with that win, gets the 4 spot and will play Team Pekowitz, who is the local team here. Team Shield, the 1 seed who went undefeated through round robin, will play Team Johnson in the 1-2 game. Both those games will be at 7 p.m. tonight down here at the club. The loser of the Shield Johnson game and the winner of the Pekowitz Berg game will play in the semifinal tomorrow afternoon here. And then the winner of that will go on to play the winner of the Shield Johnson game tonight in the final. Looking back on the ice, it looks like Team Graybo did, as you call, decide to blank. So they rather be down 4 with than up 4 or down 3 without. So
and that game is available on the other YouTube channel. You can navigate yourself there on the YouTube, and we can watch the 10th end together.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in, and good luck and good curling.